everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer taking a look at the DRF race of the day for Wednesday, March the 27th. It's race number 5 at Tampa Bay Downs, the kickoff leg of a 50-cent pick 5 wager. Let's take a peek at this field. We are on the turf going 1 mile. These are 3-year-old fillies. It's one of those starter optional claiming races. Starter allowance 32,000, optional claiming 32,000. And the number 2, My Lord's Lady Ness, is 8-5 on the morning line for Jamie Ness. She's 2 for 2 on turf. She had a really soft trip last time, however.
She did have a really soft trip on the lead in the most recent start, but when she broke her maiden, she seemed pretty comfortable sitting behind horses, Dan. So I'm not going to worry about what kind of trip she'll pull here. This feels like it's a pretty interesting and maybe a more competitive race for her.
Her versatility will serve her well, however, because as we take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, if this field holds together, this pace could be quick, especially with a horse like the number 3, Maya C, in the field. She's been a runaway in both turf starts early, expecting a winner. The number 6 is a horse that is stretching out and trying turf for the first time. But with Maya C in the race, the fractions have to be legitimate, right?
I mean, yeah, I thought she would be on the lead in here. I respect the fact that the 6, stretching out, switching to turf here could certainly show speed. I don't know, where this speed came from in Maya C's last 2 races, but it was there. She went fast both times.
If this pace is hot, keep an eye on the number 8, Seafarer, a horse that was wired by My Lord's Ladiness through slow fractions last time out. Might get a better setup according to the pace projector and does have the fastest Timeform US late pace figure. The number 1 is Retired Kathy, who switched to turf last time out and loved it. Here she is, winning her grass debut, a $32,000 maiden claimer. She rallied from off the pace, and she really puts the boots to him in the final 1/8 of a mile, upsetting to a tune of a $30 mutual, and she might get a fine pace setup once again, but she's stepping up in class.
Yeah, this is probably tough for her. It does feel like there's probably another good trip coming for her, Dan. I mean, I don't know. This is obviously, maybe it's just the right field, but she clearly loved the turf last time. I mean, she set a good trip in that race, but that's exactly how you want to see a horse come off the turn and then finish that race off. Really took a step forward there.
The number 2 is My Lord's Lady Ness, going out for Jamie Ness, Antonio Gallardo, your likely favorite at post time. 2 for 2 on the turf, including this victory, first time against winners where she just controlled a moderate pace. The half in 48-2. No wonder she has plenty left to repel this runner-up.
Yeah, she did have an easy trip in this race, but it's another very strong performance to make her 2 for 2 on turf. She wins this race for fun. She sat off of a horse in her prior turf start, the turf debut, set a good trip, took over, won that race very easily. She's probably the horse to beat them, but we've already mentioned this is a tougher spot for her.
She's likely going to have to rate in this spot, however, Mike, because of the presence of her next-door neighbor in the starting gate, the number 3, Maya C, who returned to turf 2 starts back, went right to the front and dominated that group. And then last time out, she went very quick on the lead, and she just got tired late. This is a new running style. It seems to work out for her. I doubt they're going to change it. The question is, can Kevin Gomez get her just to relax a little bit in the first half mile?
Yeah, exactly. He couldn't do that last time in that 20 claimer. He was trying to get her to settle down a little bit. It wasn't really happening for her. She went a little too fast and just didn't really have anything left in the stretch. And she did set that race up for Seafarer, who's also back in this spot. I don't know, Dan. I mean, I respect her speed for sure, but I didn't really see her dominating this kind of a race on the lead unless she takes some kind of big jump forward here. I don't think she's going to do it.
There are several interesting horses in this race at solid prices on the morning line, and one of them is the number 4, Let's Go Coco, who won on turf 2 starts back in a pace prompting effort running a mile. Shipped down to Gulfstream to race on the synthetic last time out. She showed speed again. She finished second to the favorite. She's okay on turf, but here's watching Let's Go Coco's most recent start down at Gulfstream. No real excuses, although I thought she was pressured through a solid enough second quarter mile. It looks like she's getting better, Mike. With her running style, I think she's going to have to revert to some of the stalking tactics that led to some top 3 finishes against maidens earlier this season.
Seems like she's capable of running with that style, Dan. So I'll suspect that she's okay doing that. I don't mind her form overall. I think she's probably a pretty good fit in this race. I don't know. I want you to talk about it maybe a little more. I'm kind of conflicted about her only turf start. I know she won it. I thought she got a good trip in there. It took her forever to get by a big long shot on the lead in that race. She finally did do it, and she got clear at the end. I don't know. I was sort of conflicted about that performance.
Well, she got a very good trip that day, as you mentioned. She sat just off an extremely slow pace, and then it took her a while, as you mentioned, to quicken. This pace is going to be a lot faster, so she's going to have to come from farther out of it, and she's going to need a little bit of racing luck as well as some improvement, but she is in good form at 10-1. The 5 is You Light Up My Life. She's 12-1 on the morning line, making her turf debut. Now, her one and only lifetime win game, going 2 turns on the dirt. She's going to be stretching out for this race. She's got a little bit of pedigree, Mike. Her sire, City of Light, only wins 8% with turf routers, but this dam was a good turf horse.
Yeah, there's enough turf pedigree. I mean, if you just look up City of Light's statistics, you're not going to be blown away. I don't mind the City of Lights on the grass, though. This dam was a good turf horse. She was a good synthetic horse as well. The pedigree's there for her to handle the surface switch for sure, but she's not my kind of horse then, because she does have to be better on turf than she is on dirt. You can never guarantee that kind of stuff.
12-1 seems fair. However, the dam was multiple stakes placed on turf, as Mike mentioned. Also, grade 3 stakes placed on synthetic. She's folded turf winner. Distance might be key, though. I think the dam's a half to Noble Bird, so this just looks like a pedigree that's going to get better going longer, and it looks like she has the style to sit off of a fast pace. Expecting a winner, the number 6 is another horse trying turf for the first time. This horse has a strong turf pedigree. So far, the Neolithics have done fairly well with turf runners, 12% with the turf routers. Although the dam was 0-for-11 on the turf, she was purely a turf horse, and she's a half to a stakes winning turf router named Becky's Exchange.
Yeah, there's enough turf pedigree. Listen, I don't love the Neolithics on the grass, so we'll see how that all winds up playing out. But there's turf on the bottom of this pedigree. Just another horse. They'll probably show speed in here. That might not work out. She's got to be way better on the turf.
That's the problem. She's stretching out, and she has shown sprint speed in several of her races. It'll be interesting to see, however, because her stablemate is the 3 Maya C, who also has big early speed. Maybe they don't want to duel themselves into the ground. The number 7 is It's Good to Be Jose, who is last time out behind My Lord's Ladiness, but I didn't really see an excuse. We saw her get rebuffed in the stretch. I mean, I know My Lord's Ladiness had the best trip. It's Good to Be Jose had the second best trip, and she was second best.
Yeah, that's a fair way to look at that race for sure. I mean, she ran fine when she broke her maiden 2 starts back when they dropped her in class. She barely held on at the end of that race, but at least she got the job done. I mean, she ran fine last time. There was nothing wrong with her trip. She took a big run at the winner on the lead in there. She just got turned away in a race that featured absolutely no passing. So I don't know, man. She's run fine in each of her last 2 starts, and she could be a fair price in here.
Seafarer is very interesting. We talked about her in the pace projector segment. She won her first 2 turf starts, and then last time out, when she was wired by the Nest Train runner, she just had no pace to run at. It's likely to be a 180-degree different scenario here. She's likely going to get the pace she needs, and her prior races were good on the grass. I'd expect a strong late kick.
Yeah, she's a contender in this race just because it feels like it might set up for her again. And obviously, she was in that My Lord's Ladiness race last time. There was just no passing, and she had no real chance in there. The flip side of that is, Dan, she won her prior 2 turf starts, great setups,
Yes.
Fast paces in front of her, and she got clean runs into them. So at least we know she can take advantage of it, right? And it doesn't feel like she's going to be one of the favorites in here.
Alfina is the number 9, and let's be honest, she's tough to like. She's a maiden taking on some multiple winners. She's 0-for-11 lifetime, so we can question how much upside potential is left. The blinkers are coming off. She's failed against maiden claimers. She ran well 2 starts back without the blinkers, but boy, this is just a completely different scenario from a class standpoint.
Yeah, I just thought she was hard to like in here. I mean, I like that she's dropping back down. That's the right thing for her, and it's not like the race 2 back was terrible. This is the right level for her, but I liked other horses in here.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time for race 5 at Tampa Bay Downs, first leg of a 50-cent pick 5. You like the way retired Kathy won her turf debut, and she's likely going to get another setup as well, and maybe a good in-out closer's trip.
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty big move forward on turf last time, Dan. I did think she was going to fall into the right trip in this race. I kind of wanted to try to beat the 2, who's the favorite and the horse to beat. I'll try to do it with the 1.
I want to see what You Light Up My Life, the number 5, can do switching to turf and especially stretching back out in distance. I think she's rateable and can adapt to the pace if it's fast up front. And I think she's still lightly raced enough where we can project some improvement. I think she's going to do better on the turf than she's been running on the dirt, and she's 12-1 on the line. 1-2-8-5 for Mike, 5-2-1-7 for me. It's the Wednesday DRF race of the day, the 5th at Tampa Bay Downs. Best of luck.